Amen. So in the book of Genesis, we're now kind of in the third section here, wrapping it up by Labor Day weekend. So we're going to spend a few weeks really talking about this man Jacob, because he's a very important figure. We're going to learn today that God changes Jacob's name to Israel. We've heard of Israel before, right? Okay, this is the father of the many nations. So last week we saw Jacob fall in love with Rachel, actually, but ended up marrying Leah and then Rachel. Today we are going to see Jacob in a wrestling match. Now, how many of you will admit that you like wrestling? Not wrestling. Who knows the difference? Wrestling. Does anybody know what wrestling is? Come on. We got one fan. Well, before they had the big national organizations, WWF and WWE, maybe you remember in the 70s, the 80s, all the local TV markets had kind of their own little local wrestling programs. Saturday morning, anybody remember this? I'm not the only one. Thank you. Come on, sermon illustrations, they got to be relatable, right? Help me out. Pretend you know. Yeah. Well, I used to watch them when I was Will's age. It was so fun. It's like, oh my goodness, they're beating the snot out of each other. What is going on? Okay, if anybody is a fan of WWE or any kind of wrestling, I'm going to ask you right now to just cover your ears. Okay, cover your ears. Thank you, Will. Now, to everybody else, I'm going to tell you a secret. It's not real. Yeah, I know. It's not fake, right? But it's dramatized, okay? Which now it makes it even more entertaining because you see these Hulk, like giant men, throwing each other around, trying their best not to hurt each other, and then drop them on the table and things. Well, today we're going to see a wrestling match that is so dramatic that it is surreal. But this wrestling match is real. It is very real. Okay. But first, we need a little bit of context to catch up to our reading today. We're zipping through Genesis. We can't hit it all, but we're gonna build some context here. So, Jacob and Esau have been in a grudge match since the womb. Esau was born first, but Jacob had a hold of his heel. A little bit older, young adults, Jacob snuck in and stole his father's blessing that he meant for Esau, but Jacob stole it. And that was the last straw for Esau. That was it. So in chapter 27, Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. And he said to himself, Esau said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." In other words, wouldn't do it today. I'm not going to upset my dad. But you know what? He's old. He's going to be gone soon. And when he is gone, I am going to get Jacob. I've had enough of this. So Jacob has completely estranged his relationship with his own brother. He hightails it out of town because he is very afraid. Runs into his uncle Laban, ends up marrying both of his daughters. Remember? But this Jacob, this master manipulator, right, this wheeler and dealer, he ends up falling out of favor even with his new father-in-law, Laban. So in the middle of the night, the upstanding man that Jacob is, right, in the middle of the night, he takes all of his wives, his children, his servants, his possessions, and he hightails it out of Laban's land. Well, Laban chases after him. And they get together and have this big meeting, and they come to an agreement. Laban also said to Jacob, "Here is this heap of stones and this pillar that I have set up between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness that I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and that you will not go past this heap and pillar to my side to harm me." So, Jacob, real winner, right? He's estranged his family. Now he's estranged his extended family. And now he he hears that his brother Esau, after 20 years, his brother Esau wants to meet him. And not only wants to, his brother Esau is coming out to meet him. And, there's a catch, his brother Esau is coming out to meet Jacob with 400 men. Now, if you're Jacob, and the last thing you heard Esau say was, when our father's dead, I'm going to kill you. 20 years have gone by. You see your brother's coming out to meet you with 400 men. What are you thinking? Run. Yeah, he's here to get his revenge. He's here to get his revenge. And so this brings us up to the text today. So this is the situation that Jacob is in. And again, Jacob being the upstanding man, the outstanding leader that he is, look at the first thing that he does. So that night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. And then after he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. Women and children first, right? Except into the danger, into harm. You see? Now, why is he doing this? I don't know. Perhaps he's thinking if his brother sees the women and children first, maybe it'll soften him up a little bit. You notice he's sending all his possessions over. He wants to make a peace offering to Esau. But also, if he's still on the other side of the river, if Esau does go to war, he'll be able to safely hear the slaughter going on and have plenty of time and room to run and away again. Seems like Esau is kind of missing a really key principle that God has and he has for us. And one way to say this is, the more you watch out for yourself, the lonelier and emptier you become. But the more you give of yourself, the more connected and fuller your life will become. Jacob, from the very beginning, has been looking out for number 1. Taking care of himself, me, myself, and I. And he's doing it even here, at this point in his life. And he misses this great principle that what Jesus say, right? The tighter you hold on to your life, you're going to lose it. But if you give up your life, you'll gain it and eternal life. Or, the way Jesus did it for us as an example, he emptied himself, gave up everything, taking the form of a servant, being the likeness of men. This is how God comes to us and to save us. He gives up absolutely everything. And this is the principle of our outreach, our service activities to veterans, to homeless, to grandmas in Phoenix, and mission trips. This is the whole principle of mission trips. People go out and they expend so much of them, they just pour themselves out. I tell you, the buses or the planes going to the mission trip are a lot noisier than the buses coming back because people are exhausted. They just pour themselves out. But you know what? You listen to them tell their story. They feel so blessed. They're so blessed by that experience. And I'm kind of excited to tell you, next summer, we're going to be doing an international mission trip. So that's all I'm going to tell you at this point. But look forward to that opportunity to pour ourselves out and to be so blessed. Like there's no other way to be blessed like that. So that's the principle Jacob is missing. So he's trying to hold on to his security. Well, God is going to completely rip that false idea away. He's going to take every bit of security away from him. In verse 24, so Jacob was left alone, right, sent everybody ahead of him, faced the 400 men, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. Now at this point, the first time you read the story, you really don't know who this man is, but as we read further, we recognize this man is actually who? It's God. Yeah, it's God. Now wrestle, this word wrestle here in the Hebrew is pretty interesting. It's akob, which is the same root as Jacob, Jacob. Jacob's name means he's a wrestler. Right? From the womb, he was wrestling with his brother. Right? He wrestled the blessing away from his father that was meant for Esau. He wrestled Leah and Rachel away from his uncle Laban. This guy knows how to fight. He knows how to win. And one of the noteworthy things is, for me, is amazing that when God wants to come down and have a heart-to-heart with a wrestler, how does he appear? How does he come to him? As a wrestler. You know, when God wanted to bring salvation into the world, how did he come to us? Jesus didn't come in power and might and strength. No, he emptied himself as a humble servant, just like you and me, because he loves us so much. He wants us to be able to hear and understand what he has to offer to us. So what does that mean for us? We are his witnesses in the world today. So maybe instead of being the experts in the law and judging other people and telling them how wrong they are, maybe we need to be with them. We need to love them, work with them, serve them, the lost, the sinners. Well, Jacob's a wrestler. They're in this match. Jacob's putting up a good fight. And when the man, God saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched. It was dislocated as he wrestled with the man. Have anybody had a dislocated hip? I know my mom has, and I know I've seen her face when it's dislocated. It is excruciating pain. Now, the man here obviously is feigning weakness, right? It's because notice how he dislocated his hip. He didn't punch him. He didn't take his leg twisted. He didn't slug him, right? Just one finger he just touched. Ow. Ow. So Jacob is learning here a little bit about his opponent. This is not just any man, which he would have known anyway. Touched him, and the socket of his hip was dislocated. Incredible amount of pain there. So as they struggle, as they wrestle, Jacob clings to God, and he won't let go. And so the man said, "Let me go for this daybreak." Think about it. I've been wrestling all night. Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Jacob knew who he was wrestling with. But here's the point, right? God went through this whole scenario, this whole interaction with Jacob to get to this moment, to get Jacob to this point. See, despite being wealthy, successful, despite being a wheeler and dealer, a master manipulator, very prideful man, Jacob had something very broken inside of him. Jacob had never been blessed for who he is. He stole a blessing that was meant for his brother, but deep inside, no one had ever valued him for who he is. And he clinged to God and said, "I'm not going to let you go until you bless me." He's going to go on and be the great father of faith, great example in Hebrews 11. God has to heal this. God has to fix this in deep, deep, deep wound inside of him. And what we learn from this is that God says, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." That's what Israel means. You have struggled with God. Now, this means that God can bless us through struggles. Through struggles in our life, God can bless us. How? Well, how did he bless Jacob? Struggles are blessings because they teach us. Struggles teach us, and most of the time they teach us to ask for help. Jacob, he's in this fight, there's this wrestling match, and he realizes that just one touch of a finger can dislocate his hip. There are obstacles that he cannot overcome. He's not strong enough. He has to ask for help. I don't know how easy that is for you. It's not very easy for me. I like to be the helper. But I don't like to be the one who needs help. Asking for help can be very humiliating. But what are we going to do? We're going to sit there and in our struggle and our pain because we just don't want to ask anybody for help? So God teaches us through our struggles. Another blessing that we have through our struggles is that our struggles make us stronger. And nobody likes this. Nobody wants this. But we know it's true. It's true in everywhere. Our bodies. You want to get bigger and stronger? Well, you can't do it laying around on the couch. You got to exercise. And when you lift weights, when you exercise, you create micro tears in your muscles. And as your muscles heal, they get bigger and stronger. Same with so many other areas of our life. We don't like it, but we know God makes us stronger through those things. Think about some of the biggest struggles you've been through in your life. And you know that through them you have become stronger in character, stronger in resolve, stronger in your faith. I know the greatest struggle that I have ever been through has taught me more about God's love and God's power and God's grace than all of seminary and decade of ministry combined. We don't like it. We don't want it. But our struggles make us stronger. Look what it did for Jacob. Next chapter. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the two female servants. He put the female servants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, Rachel and Joseph in the rear, and he himself went on ahead. This struggle changed his character. Do you see that? He started off putting the women and children in the front and hiding in the back. After wrestling with God now, he puts his family in the rear and puts himself in harm's way. Forged in struggle, forged in fire, right? Changes, strengthens our character, strengthens our faith. He himself went on ahead and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. Our scars can be a blessing. Now, the Jacob that Esau remembered was a wheeler and dealer, a master manipulator, a very proud man, someone who is very wealthy, someone who had wives and possessions and animals and flocks. So when Esau was looking for Jacob, he did not expect to see a man whose hip was dislocated, walking toward him, stumbling toward him. And not just walking toward him, but 7 times as he approached, he stopped and he bowed down all the way to the ground, humbling himself in front of Esau. Getting up, this dislocated hip, right? Continuing to walk forward. And God worked a miracle of mercy in Esau's heart. Esau got off his horse. He ran to his brother and he embraced him. Instead of striking his brother down, he kissed him. through the scars of the struggles of Jacob's life, God brought a tremendous blessing. Reconciliation, forgiveness, of restoration, of new life. His family. Tremendous, tremendous blessing. And that kind of reminds me of another person whose scars have brought tremendous blessings to you and me. In Isaiah, the prophet, he speaks of Jesus, who's going to come 700 years later. But Isaiah writes, surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. And yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his scars, by his stripes, we are healed. In the next verse. We all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Through the scars of Jesus, we are blessed. We're forgiven. We're restored. We're reconciled with our Creator. I don't know what kind of struggles you're going through, you're facing today, or you're looking forward in the weeks or months ahead. But my prayer for us this day is that through our struggles, we would learn, we would grow stronger, and that we would realize, no matter what the struggle is, what the scar is, whether it's a self-inflicted wound, it's a wound that someone else has given us, no matter what the scar is, we recognize that God has not abandoned us. In fact, God will bless us through our struggles, through our scars.